Hi all, hope you're all well. Right, so today we're going to look at transforming two objects, so one object into another. Okay, so this is more of an illusion than actually like morphing particular parts of the geometry from one to another, like a pose morph tag would do, which you can do with simple lettering. I've done it with letters, where you've got nodes that have to match up and stuff like that. But if we've got complex items like you see on the screen, where there's lots of elements to it, we need to find another way. Now this happens quite quickly, so the actual system of transforming these objects from one to another is more of an illusion. It's a trick. So I'll actually play this through. This is well, you've just seen it on video, but so you've got this kind of very quick like changeover happening. But if you slow it down and have a look here, look, you've actually got, it's being controlled by these MoGraph linear paths. So we're literally changing it from one state to another by scaling it down and then scaling up the next object. So that's disappearing, and I'm putting some spin and all sorts of like distraction techniques into it, really. And then the other item starts to come through, as you can see. Now the other thing here is you need to choose two objects that are similar scale and some similarity between them, and also quite don't shy away from complicated items as well, like these items on the screen here. There's lots and lots of pieces, and it's much more distracting the more pieces, which adds to the illusion. Okay, if you just got a very, very simple shape that changes to another simple shape, there's not many items on there and it won't sell this effect. So here there's a lot going on, right? So you're kind of distracted by all what's going on here. Look, it's the mouthpiece is spinning, it's like banging into this, all these bits are moving as it spins around like 180, and then it's actually, well, it's changing from a trumpet to a megaphone. So what's happening is you've got a similar like the cone piece on the end is similar on the trumpet to it is on a megaphone. As you run through it, you see the megaphone is now forming from the end of the trumpet. So the idea is to choose similar items, lots of pieces on the items, so they can all come off and form back in, and a couple of colors which I've got here. So I've got like a gold and a white, and you just use a couple of really decent textures, and then this effect will work. And you do it over, this is only over 100 frames, 30 frames a second. This is only about just over 3 second clip, so it needs to be quite quick just to go through like that and reform. Okay, so shall we have a go at doing this? Let's start again with a new scene. Let's see if we can build this for you now. So what we do is that both of these items are available in the asset browser. So we come up here and we will look for, let's go on to objects, let's have a look for, what if we use trumpet, there we go, double click on that. Comes in quite small. I actually want this to be a bit bigger because I'm used to working at a different scale. So if you put in a cube, look, and then just hit T on the keyboard for transform. Let's just bring this up so it's sort of there like that, so you can just see it coming through. So let's get rid of the cube. So that's the scale roughly that we're going to be looking at. So there's the trumpet, and we want megaphone. So go megaphone, there it is. There's two types. There's the old one, which is, we could use that one, but this one's got a few more items on. That's why I chose that one. There's a few more things on this one. Right, so let's scale that one up, and we need to spin it in coordinates. I think it's the top. Well, that's right. Yeah, sometimes get these wrong, but I've actually got it right today. Okay, so let's go in a bit closer. And so originally I thought let's line it up there, right? It's a good start. But on my finished video that you saw at the beginning of this this tutorial, I actually had it the other way around. I thought if the trumpet's facing the other way, the mouthpiece can be the same color and it could become the front. So that's why I decided to spin it. So let's do the same. Right, before we do all of that, we need to do some work on these because they've come through and they've got all of these different pieces and everything. We don't want that. We want this to be flattened into one object. Now, before we do that, we need to decide where the colors are going to go. It makes it easy to do it at this stage than it does to flatten it and then try and add the colors on afterwards. So let's just move that away from there so we can see. Right, so we've got blue here, we've got some cream kind of megaphone. There's lots of megaphone pieces there. That we're not going to use all of those. Okay, we're just going to use a couple. So I think what we do, let's delete all the materials apart from the brass for the trumpet, because I don't think there's an actual brass in there, so we'll keep that one. And then we'll get let's just get a white. So let's go for like white, go to materials, and then we'll choose this white gloss. Okay, so we've got a white gloss and I think that's all we need. We're just going to have brass and like white shiny plastic. Right, they're the two textures we'll play with. So on the mouthpiece, you'll see, because we've taken out all the other colours, it's now just gone to this white. So we just want to add where it says trumpet mouthlet, we want to put the white on there. Okay, so we'll put the white gloss on there, and on the megaphone, yeah, we're not going to have all of these, but we're just going to put the white on the front, which is the speaker. So let's put white on there like that. And then actually, if we then just put the brass on the whole thing, let's put it on, does that actually, no, that's not worked. We need to put it on these elements. Let's see if that works. Let's take these two out. Yeah, okay, and let's have a look at the handle. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can do it. Maybe we can flatten it now and make this easier. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so if we just click on the group and we right click and say connect objects and delete. Right, so we only get one piece of geometry now. Okay, if we just go into here, that you'll see that's just all one piece now. Yeah, so that's what we want. Let's just have a look at where these textures have now been added. So we've got things here which have not got textures on, like the button. So let's pop that on there. Okay, yeah, so I think that's worked. So that's cleaned it up quite well, and I think, let's just see what that is. Is that actually got a, don't think it's got a separate, that's fine. Let's not worry about the little pieces like that. So there we go. So that's mainly white, the white gloss and the brass. Okay, and then on the trumpet we've got the white and the brass. So two similar looking items now. Okay, let's do the same with trumpet. So we haven't actually flattened this one, so we can just click on it, then right click and say where are we? Connect objects and delete. There we go. So we just got two. Let's just clean that up even more by taking out the word new. So we've got a megaphone and a trumpet. Now, like I said on my video, what I did is I took the trumpet and that's it. Spin it round. Let's just put that in at -180. So what I wanted is this white piece here, the mouthpiece. I wanted to line up with the megaphone here, because it's the same material, so it's going to sell this effect, this illusion of it transforming from one object to another. If you can do this kind of thing, if you can link things up, you know, so as it comes through and it changes its form from one to the other, you could be believed, you know, that it's it's forming like this, like the mouthpiece is forming the front of this megaphone. Okay, so that's why I've positioned them like this. So how do we get this effect to do what it does? Basically, let's just work on one item at a time. So let's just close the asset browser, so we've got a little bit more space on here to play. Right, so we'll start with the trumpet, because that's the first one in the scene. So let's just turn off the megaphone like that. Just put that underneath, because that's the second one. So we're just going to look at the trumpet now. Now what we want to do is we want to use the MoGraph. Well, before we do that, sorry, we need to do something to this, because this has now been flattened like to one piece of geometry, but we want this to explode into pieces. So we need to add an effect that will break this up again, and the one to do that with is under the cloner menu here, is the fracture. Okay, so if you hold down Alt and put a fracture on there, the trumpet is now a child of fracture. So when you click on fracture, what we need to do is go to object, and where it says mode, we need to change straight to explode segments and connect. Okay, click on that. Nothing will happen at this stage because there needs to be an effector of some kind to explode them. Okay, let's go have a sip of coffee, because I've got a feeling if I don't, I might start coughing. Yeah, we need an effector to now explode these pieces. So what we do is we go to MoGraph and we use a plane effector. Now it's pushed it up in the air like it always does, because if you go to parameter look in the Y, it's gone 100. Let's take that down to 0 for now, so it doesn't move it. But what we're going to do with this effect is we're going to scale down the geometry so it disappears, right? And then on the megaphone that it's changing into, we're going to scale that up. I'll show you how it works. So if we click on scale, and then we just check both uniform and absolute, and then on the scale we do a -1. Okay, so it disappears. It's completely gone to 0, so there's no scale here. Now to bring this back and control this scale, we need to use a field. So we click on fields, and then we click on linear field. Okay, now if we move the linear field through, you'll see that we can affect how that works from no scale, not registering at all, to going back to a normal like 1 on the scale. It's actually operating the wrong way. We do need to turn it around here, so we need to go to -x, because what we want it to do is as we approach the object, it scales down. Right, it's a little bit wide, so we need to change the length here to about 50, and that just affects the gap between this this linear field here. So that's about right. So it comes up and everything scales down to there where it's gone, right? In my example, you probably saw it change a little bit. There's a few things happening. It didn't just scale down. The other thing we do is we scale it up temporarily and then scale it down. It gives a little bit more dynamic feel to it, a little bit more energy. So what we do is we copy this plane. Actually, let's set a keyframe first for this one, and then we can copy it, and then we don't need to keep doing that again. So on the first one, let's set a keyframe here at 0 for now. Let's go along to, say, frame 50. Bring the linear field through until everything disappears there, and then set another keyframe. Okay, so if we play that back, look, it will go through, boom, and it's all gone. So now if we click on fracture and then copy, let's make a copy of this, just control and drag. Oh no, we've actually copied we copied the fracture as well. We don't want to do that. We just need to click on fracture and go to effectors and make sure, and it's not gone in there, so we just need to drag the other plain effector in there. Let's rename these now because you can't really see which is which. So if we say scale down, and then this one will be scale up, which I'll explain why in a second. Scale up, there we go. So both of those now will be featured in here, in the effectors tab of the Fracture object. Okay, so the scale down is the one that we've just done, where it's scaling it down to nothing. Now the scale up, we actually want to happen before the scale down. We want to temporarily make this trumpet bigger and then quickly scale down. So what we do is, let's just open both these linear fields up now. If we go on the scale down, the first one, we want to just move this to, I don't know, about frame 10, this one, okay, where it starts to move. And then the scale up, we're having happen quicker, straight away, sorry, the scale up. But we need to change something on the parameter here, because at the moment it's -1 on the scale. So we need to make sure that that says 1, because we're actually going to be scaling this one up and then scaling it down. So as we just scrub through this, look, you'll see the trumpet now is getting bigger, and but then the scales down afterwards. Okay, so it's got this. Let's just play that in real time. So it goes up and down. So it just feels a little bit more like some energy and things are happening, rather than it just disappear, in one linear kind of line. So that's why we do that. We scale up and then down, and it gives it a lot more dynamic feel. But there's more we can do. We don't need to just have it moving along like that. We can have it spinning over and rotating and doing all sorts of things as well. So that's all controlled in here in the plane. Okay, so at the moment though, we've taken, well, we haven't got rotation on at all. So if we click on rotation, and let's just move this so it's affecting it. You see that? Look, we can turn these items around so they feel even more dynamic and cool, don't they? Because things are happening. It's not just a very linear feel. It's a very kind of, right, let's just see if that's too many. I've got 1250 degrees there. That might be too much spin. Yeah, you didn't really see what happened there, did we? Let's just put it in at about 180 and see what that does. Okay, it's probably a little bit quick to see it. Sure, let's grab both linear fields and let's just move this up to, say, I don't know, let's go 60 and just see if we can see it a little bit better. Yeah, it's not bad. It's got to be quick, but you've got to still work out things. Let's move it to, make sure they're both selected. Let's move it up to 70, and let's give ourselves 100, I don't know, about 150 on the timeline here, because we might want to extend it. Right, let's just try that. Let's see what that looks like. I think I prefer that a little bit slower. Because you need to see some of the twisting and the revolt, the rotations and things happening, like you see. So we've got the rotation there, look. And you can't really see this one rotate because it's in that path. But what we could do, we could also add on the scale down that we can also turn them this way. You can spin them right over. So what do we go? 360. Let's try that. Yeah, so they're kind of spinning round as well. I don't know if that will work. There's only one way to, it's just what looks right. Okay, so we need to have the other one doing this as well, the megaphone, and then when they're both working together, we can then say, oh no, prefer that to happen. Yeah, so we can make all these changes a bit later on. Right, so let's for the megaphone we need to do the same thing, but let's just copy the scale down to use on the megaphone there, right? And then the other ones, let's just get these grouped now into their own folder, just so we don't lose track of what's happening. So the first one is obviously trumpet, so let's just group those, right click, group, and let's just call that trumpet. Okay, And now let's just turn that off for now. So we're just dealing with the megaphone. Right, so turn the megaphone on, and we need to put that in a fracture. So we click on it, and we go here to this cloner menu, go to fracture, hold down Alt, makes it a child, and don't forget to change the object mode type here to explode segments and connect. Right, now on effectors, we need to drop in this plane scale down that we've just made. Drop that into effectors. Okay, so as we play through this one, it will pass through and it will do the same as what it's just done to the trumpet, but we want this to come back the other way rather than disappear. We want it to remain on the screen, don't we? We want it to be the last thing to appear. So rather than disappear, we want it to appear. So what we do is we go to the linear field, and we just change the direction here to X plus. Okay, so as we play it through, it appears. It doesn't disappear. It actually appears on the screen like that. So it's the opposite to the other one. So that's exactly what we want. We want the trumpet to disappear, the megaphone to appear. Right, so far so good. Let's just have a look at what these two look like together and see if what we need to change. So it comes along. Okay, it's doing it. It's doing it. Yeah, you can sort of see the idea of that. It moves along and that spins round and that pops on there. It's not bad, but I think we can improve it. I think we can do a little bit more work for things coming on at different times and things like that. So you just got to play with this as you go along and have a look and see at what point things should be happening. Okay, now I think it should be appearing before. It's just popping on at the end like that. I think it should be appearing quicker than that, the megaphone. So if we go on to linear field, and we put where it's in at 10 at the moment, let's put that back to 0, and then let's bring this one in as well to say 50 and just see what that does. Alright, so as you can see, what's happening is it's forming it a little bit too quick for me. So let's go 60 and see what we've got there. Okay, that's quite nice because it's like all that brass is making the body of the megaphone at this point. Let's have a look. What's the front doing? The mouthpiece. That's not... Okay, that's getting a bit lost in the megaphone now. I think we probably need to have... Let's just go... Right, let's group these. Let's group these under megaphone, just so we've got the two groups, so it's easier to work with. And like I said, we're going to have to go between the two. We're going to have to go back to trumpet now. I haven't spelt that right. Go back to trumpet, and we need to have a look at some of these things. So we've got the scale up. Let's just have a look at when they happen. So it starts at 0, ends at 70. So let's bring that in to 60 and see what that does. That's not bad. Okay, but could we spin does the mouthpiece spin around when it gets to it? Yeah. The problem we've got here is I think the megaphone is happening too quick. Right, so let's go on linear field of the megaphone one, and let's bring that back out to 70. Let's just see if that was actually okay. Because I want this to turn, so maybe it's got to go the other way and be 80. So that turns. That's quite interesting. What does the rest look like? The body, that might not look so good. Let's have a look. Sort of not too bad. sort of goes along. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try a few things. Right, there is something we haven't put on here yet, which really makes a difference to this animation. Everything that was quite still at the moment, it's still not really got any kind of movement here. So what we do is, let's just close those down. We add another MoGraph effect in here called delay. All right, and we add the delay into the megaphone effector tab here. So just drop that in there underneath. I think it has to be underneath the plain scale down one, so it's at the bottom. Click on delay. Let's go to effector and let's go to the mode and change it to spring, and then let's add about 70 in the strength. Right, what this will do is add a little bit of jiggle to the end of the animation, so you get this effect. Yeah. Oh, that's not gone all the way through. The reason for that is on the linear field here, where it stops at 80, we need to make sure that the linear field completes. Oh, hang on. I've got the right one. Megaphone, yes. Oh, I deleted the linear field. It should. I can't. I'm missing something here. Let's just try moving. Oh, I thought it would have been that one. Let's try this one. I thought it would be the one on the megaphone. Yeah, it should be this one. I wonder why it's not taken that one in. Let's go to there. Let's move it over and hit a keyframe. Let's just see. I wonder why that's done that. Oh, okay. I think I just didn't wait for it to stop moving after the delay effect had been put on it. There we go. So it's all starting to look quite nice now, because you've got this movement and jiggle at the end, haven't you, where it looks like it's still reacting to transforming into a different shape. So that really adds a nice feel to it. So yeah, I don't think that's too bad. You're starting here, trumpet facing that way, coming along, altering it, changing it into that. Okay, so that's similar to what I had. A few little things you can keep changing on here. You can just look at rotating, maybe position. Position's quite a nice one. I'll just show you what we can do there. Look. So as the trumpet, as you can see, if we slow it right down, look, you can see that it's kind of disappearing over that direction. Okay, it's like shooting kind of out the back in some ways. Right, we could have all these pieces shoot in towards the brass, like it's like they're helping to build this next section. So what we can do, we can just on the X here, look, we can bring these in like that. Okay, so now when we play it, the pieces felt like they went in to make this, didn't they? Because they've gone out and then shot into there, all right, rather than go out the other way. So things like that can just really make a difference. So I think that's about it. The only thing we can do now is just add some HDRI lighting, because at the moment, look, there's no decent light in here. So let's just put in the sky, and let's go to Asset Browser and get an HDRI, just like a studio or something. Yeah, I mean one of these. Which one? Oh, quite good. So yeah, this one will be fine. Let's just drag that one in. Okay, and then we just add that to the sky. But then we need to put a compositing tag on here and turn it off the camera. So we go to render tags, compositing, and then not seen by camera. Okay, and then we need to put in a background of, say, white, and let's just have a quick look at that. Okay, so we should get a reflection in here of that studio lighting. I don't know if I actually like that one. I want one with a bit. Let's try this one. Is that the same one or a different one? That's a different one. Let's put that one on. Let's delete that one. Let's see what that gives us. I just wanted to see something in here. Yeah, you got some lights gathering up here. That's quite nice. And sheen on there, on the white gloss. So let's just have a look at it from there. It's not bad. Like, you can see some lighting. Right, okay. Turn off the asset browser. Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Now, as you saw at the start of this video, I've got some other effects here. I've got one with it's a soccer helmet changing into a football and it's bouncing out of the scene. Some other ones like blenders and kettles doing, spinning round as well. Put that one in there. They're all available on the link below this video in my Gumroad website. Very, very small cost. I think it's only a couple of dollars or even less. And you can grab all of those and you can see how I've constructed the scenes. Videos in there as well. If you want to see how the ball was done, because it's a little bit different, that one, because it bounces out of the scene and stuff. So if you just want to have a look at that, very, very cheap, get the link below, get all the scene files then, and yeah, it's like a shortcut. But feel free, obviously, to build it all yourself as a tutorial. Entirely up to you. My name is Mike German from Visual Animation. Take care. Goodbye for now.